Everybody, welcome to Cooking with Tovia. I'm Chef Tovia. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this fabulous Shamrock Shake Cheesecake. You'll be able to find all the components for this recipe in the description box. Please subscribe so you'll be notified of my new uploads, which are on Mondays and Thursdays at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to follow me on social media. You'll be able to find all the information in the description box. Please like and share this video as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is start in the bottom of the bowl of my mixer. I'm going to add cream cheese, and it's at room temperature. That's great. Get all of that out the pack. And then I have my sugar, and I'm using unprocessed regular cane sugar. And I'm going to cream the two together for about 3 minutes. I'm going to start off on low speed and just increase the speed. It's also a good idea to scrape the bowl down with a spatula in between mixing, just to make sure all the ingredients are being properly creamed. So it's been a few minutes and the ingredients has finished creaming together. So I have here 2 eggs that are at room temperature, and I'm going to add them one at a time. I'm going to beat the mixture for about 30 seconds after each addition of the egg. I have here vanilla extract. I'm going to add my pure vanilla extract. Then I'm going to stop the machine and give it one more good scrape. Just make sure you scrape the bottom of the bowl really good, because sometimes little large chunks of cream cheese tend to settle there. Okay, so this is now ready, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off the machine and we're going to pour it in our crust. So I'm pouring my cheesecake batter into the crust, and if you're looking for a crust recipe, please check the description box. There's a recipe there on how to make cheesecake crust. So I'm pouring my batter in, and I'm going to smooth it across the cheesecake crust. And it's okay if some of the batter covers the crust. It's going to look great in the end. So I'm just covering, trying to smooth it as much as I can. And just wipe off any of that batter that's on the edges. And I'm just going to give the pan a gentle shake. Don't want to shake it too much, just a gentle shake. Just to kind of shake in that batter, all these little air bubbles out here. So after I shake it, I'm going to just let it sit for a minute. I'm going to tap the side slightly, and this will help get all the air bubbles out. Just don't pick it up and drop it like you would for cake. So before we put our cheesecake in the oven, we have to wrap the pan with foil. So I'm going to just put 2 sheets of foil here, approximately the same length. You just want it to be longer than the pan. So I have the foil here, and I just crisscross them, and I'm going to place my pan in the middle, and then I'm just going to gather all the sides of the foil, and then I'm just going to kind of grab the edges and fold it. But just make sure the tops of the foil is not going to dig into the cheesecake, so fold it in the outward motion. Just gathering the sides together. The idea here is to keep water from seeping into the bottom of the cheesecake pan as it bakes, because we have to put water in the bottom of the sheet pan. I have my oven preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have here some hot water. We're going to pour the hot water into the sheet pan, pour it in the corner. This keeps the water from splashing into the cheesecake. We are baking this is called a bain-marie, or a water bath. So it is important. Just pour enough water to come up halfway through the sides of the pan, and then we're going to gently push the rack inside the oven. And we're going to bake it with the door closed at 325 degrees for exactly 70 minutes. And then we're going to turn the oven off. And we're going to just let it sit in the oven for 30 minutes. Don't open the oven door at all. Okay, so this is the finished cheesecake. I baked it in the oven at 325 for exactly 70 minutes and turned it off and let it stay in there for 30 minutes without opening the oven. And took it out, and it was set, and then I let it chill. So what I'm going to do now is just pull the foil from the sides. So what I'm going to do is unmold the cheesecake. So I have a cornstarch container. I'm going to set the cheesecake on top. And I have a kitchen torch. If you don't have a kitchen torch, you can just run a hot rag around the outside of it. Just keep running in super hot water. But with the torch, you just make sure you don't have the flame too close, but give you guys a good view. Run the torch along the side, up and down, till you see it sort of sweat a little bit. You'll see all that condensation on the side dry off. It's a good indication to let you know that you ran along. When I run it across about 3 or 4 times, and just turn it. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to start to cook the cheesecake even more. And what I do is I touch the outsides, and if I feel any super cold spots, I just run the torch back over it. So I think we're good. So fingers crossed. I'm gonna pull the release tab on the side. And voila. There you go, you have it. Perfect cheesecake. So I have here my Mint Chocolate Chip Ermine, which is my French buttercream frosting. Check the description box for the recipe. There's a full demonstration. There's a very detailed that shows you how to make it. And of course you can adjust the flavors and the colors. If you need more mint flavor, add more mint. If you need to be more greener, add more green color. So I just have a Wilton bag here that I just sort of snip the tip off of. Made it a little large enough so the chocolate chips can go through it. And I'm just going to begin filling the pastry bag. My ermine is pretty cold still, but it's not real cold. So just my purpose of this is just so I can create a good border around the edge of my cheesecake here. So I'm going to pipe around the edge of my cheesecake. If I have to stop, I'll stop here. And then just scrape that rest of that frosting down the bag. And just start here where we left off. Just easy pressure. Let's just try to keep the height of the edge of the height of it even. And the turntable helps with getting that. So now all I'm going to do is just take my spatula, just plop some of that in the middle. And don't make a mess like I just did. Now, as you hear, I have my water running in the background. I have my icing spatula here, offset spatula. I'm going to run it through the hot water. And I'm going to shake off the water. And I'm just going to smooth this over like this. And what that does is it just kind of heats the frosting a little bit and makes it where you can just spread everything evenly. And if you feel like some parts of it needs more frosting, you can just sort of touch it up. But usually I'll put a wet rag under the pan to keep it from sliding about. So what I'm going to do now is take this and put it into the freezer. And it's going to sit in the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so the cake has been in the freezer. Usually I don't have no hard time removing it from the pan. Let me get a... Usually all it takes for me is just a little small knife to go under it a little bit. And that just usually loosens the whole thing for me. See? Comes right off. So all I'm going to do is just grab the sides and transfer it right to the middle of my cake board here. I'm going to garnish the top with my whipped cream. I have stabilized whipped cream. If you want a recipe for that, please check the description box. I'm just going to go and kind of divide it with a knife. Just kind of so we know how to slice it. Just slice it down the middle. And then I'm going to clean the knife off. The knife is hot. I shake off the hot water, then I'm going to turn it. And just going to cut it evenly down the middle. Try to make sure the parts are all, the sides are all equal. So. And you have to work quickly. So now I'm just gonna cut each of those pieces in half, and I'm gonna clean the knife off every time. So I'm using Wilton Tip 2D, and I'm gonna fill my pastry bag here with my whipped cream, and you can find the whipped cream recipe in the description box. So I have my pastry bag filled. And then what I usually first do is begin by squeezing to press out any air to make sure it pipes. And it does. So I think I'm just going to do a little rosette swirl around the top of the cheesecake here. Just sort of around motion. We're going to take some cherries, and I have cherries with stem on it. We're going to place it on top of the whipped cream. So now we're going to give this cake a taste. I'm going to give you a close-up of it. And see, it's nice and creamy. Let's see if you can make sure you guys get a good shot. It's not dry, as you can tell. It's not dry. Inside is nice and luscious and creamy. That's what we're after. So I'm gonna give this a taste test. Let's see if I can get in front of the camera for you guys. So, ironically, my phone rang in the middle of filming, but and I was eating away, but that's a good sign. This cake is so delicious, so creamy, so it tastes like ice cream. How could you not want this? It's absolutely delicious. Perfect cheesecake, fall directions. You won't have any cracks on top or anything like that. You find the recipe for the Mint Chocolate Chip Ermine and stabilized whipped cream in the description box. Please add this video to your playlist, subscribe to me, give me a thumbs up, and also leave a comment if you have any requests. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to come together to love one another. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stop by my baking channel, The Sugar Sweet. Please subscribe there too. Peace out. Thumbs up.